Harmonica John here. Today I'm talking to rack harp players. Playing your harp in a rack is easy. Doing it well is a bit harder. The key to playing well in a rack is adjusting your rack to fit your particular embouchure and make it comfortable to play. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Oh, hey, where's that major scale? And here's your boogie thing. Check it out.
Okay, go.
So let me show you this. All racks have certain things they have to have. A way to hold the harmonica and a way to hold it in place. Most racks are the same basic design. They have a spring-loaded clamp to hold the harmonica, you see right here. They have some sort of a wing nut contraption that when you loosen it, you can adjust the angle a little bit. And they have a yoke that goes around your neck. This one has a plastic thing around the back to make it supposedly more comfortable, but it's just as hard as metal. If you look at the rack, you see how right here it bends? It used to go straight up. But that made it hard for me to play. I had to stick my lips way out. It made my neck fatigued. So I put it in a vise, and I bent the hell out of it to make it where it was. The other problem is changing harmonicas. This one, if you look right here, you'll see there's a little pop rivet right there. That pop rivet makes the bottom plate of the clamp stop. So now I can take my harmonica and with one hand I can pull this side down and slide it in. See how easy that was? Before that, this one would be at the top. I'd pull it down and it would be hard. I had to use both hands. It was uncomfortable. So that I've adjusted that rack that way. These are the two modifications on this particular rack. The bend and the rivet. So, and then the angle is so that I can fit it. Let me put this on and show you. If I was to, also wearing a shirt with a collar is a good idea when you're using a rack. I have my harmonica vest, and I even put the harmonica vest over the back of the rack to hold it in place. Okay, so now you see how it fits right there on my mouth? I'm going to turn sideways. You see how it fits sideways nicely on my mouth right there? Once I get it to where I want it, now I clamp it down. This rack already has a pretty good clamping mechanism. So now I can play. Imagine if I had not bent it. Now the harmonica would be bent at a different angle. I would have to use a strange embouchure. I wouldn't be comfortable. Here's a new rack from Hohner. This is the H1, I think they call it. This one, they only put one wing nut on the side. And the rails were very sturdy. They're flat iron. I had a real hard time bending this one. You see how it still has that same angle? Straight up and down would have been like that.
Hold on.
You see how I've bent it. I had a hard time bending this one. I had to use a vise and a hammer. But it used to be straight up like this, but I made it bend over. That way, when I put it around my neck, it holds the harmonica at the correct angle for me. Also, I had to turn it around backwards. These used to be on the other side. I had to bend them down, turn them around, because the way that they had it oriented, it just wasn't right. But now that I've done that, and I probably will put a rivet in this eventually, because I have a harder time putting it in there. This rack is better for holding chromatic harmonicas. But now I could put it on, and you want it to hold stiffly. If I put this on, once again, I'll put it under my collar and put the vest on it to help hold it down. I've got this one on. Now this one is a little tighter to me because this angle is shorter. So so you notice how I have to kind of tilt my neck down a little bit? That makes it harder for me to go from playing to singing. But this one is nice because it only has one wing nut. Now, when you first get this one, the wing nut is on this side. But because I needed these clamps on the other side, because of the angle of the neck yoke, I I had to turn those around. So I can play it okay, but that one's not as comfortable. But I got it special for using bigger harmonicas. All right, this is the Jim Dunlop Harp handle rack. I ran across this. I went to the music show in Anaheim one year and talked to Jim Dunlop, and he had this rack, which it holds it differently. You see how it holds it from the sides. Now, some harmonicas you can't hold in a rack like this because of the sides of the edges. So I only use this on harmonicas that fits in. And you slide this up and it squeezes it and it doesn't come falling out. Another advantage to this rack is you can change the angle here with a wing nut instead of having to bend it, so I can get that angle I want. The problem this rack had is the nuts would slip. I have put friction washers, I've used rubberized glue, I've put epoxy, and I finally got it so that the screws don't slip on the wing nuts. And so now this rack is pretty comfortable and it works. But even on a rack that is well designed, if they don't pay attention to the details in not letting it slip, then you have a problem. If a rack slips, now you're chasing it like this. It's like when you're playing drums and your bass drum is not on a carpet and it's creeping away from you. It's the same kind of thing. It needs to be comfortable. To be able to play well, your rack has to be comfortable and stable and steady and be right, and just stay where you put it. This was pretty comfortable. And some people have told me that it's hard to sing and then play rack harmonica. Well, you see where it's sitting right now? I can sing. I just set up with my vocal mic above the rack. So I play down here. I come up here and I sing. It opens my vocal track. Okay, I got one more rack to show you, and this one's a trip.